Hotel History is created for adult audiences. Content may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. You're listening to Hotel History. We take you with us through the sordid history and scandals of some of the world's most famous and infamous hotels. I'm Dieta.
And I'm Yael. Let's get started.
We are finally getting to do our episode about hotels where Marilyn Monroe stayed or made an appearance for whatever reason. This is the 100th anniversary of her birth this year. And we wanted to release this back in June for her birthday, but as usual, we didn't have time to do everything we wanted to do. So we're doing it a little late.
The whole year. We're celebrating Marilyn
Exactly.
Monroe the whole year. Wait, she was born in June
1st, I believe.
So that makes her a Gemini.
Yes.
Ah, my dad's birthday is June 2nd. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought for a second she was a Libra. Not a Libra. No, a Leo. But you know what? That tracks that people would think that. I think. And then there's more to her. So she has like two sides. Oh my God. She really is a Gemini. So she stayed in many, many hotels. Is there a hotel she hasn't stayed at?
I honestly, there are some that I did not include in this because it was going to be way too long. So I tried to pick the ones that she made an impact on or they made an impact on her. I just could not do every single hotel she ever stepped foot in. Obviously, we probably don't know. And also it was too many.
Well, so many of the hotels we talk about, she's mentioned. We're just like, oh yeah, and then Marilyn Monroe was there.
Yeah, basically, if Marilyn Monroe was in your hotel, you made history.
Yeah. Business was good.
Exactly. So we'll start with her early years. This is when she was still Norma Jean, not Marilyn quite yet. Our first hotel is the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Before it was demolished, it was actually located in present-day Koreatown on Wilshire Boulevard. Shout out K-Town.
Yeah, where I live. I can't believe it. There's a few hotels in Koreatown, but not many, and they're generally really small. Like Koreatown's not the place you really visit or stay. You visit, but you don't stay. Great food, though.
So the Blue Book Modeling Agency had its headquarters in the Ambassador in the 1940s. 19-year-old Norma Jean signed on with the agency on August 2nd, 1945, where she took modeling classes and had a lot of success posing for magazines. So right away, this hotel becomes significant because this is the start of her career, even if she didn't quite know it yet.
I know where the Ambassador Hotel used to be, and there's a statue. I think that's still there from the original.
We did a newsletter about this on our Substack, and if you go find that, substack.com/@hotelhistory, in this newsletter, there is a photo of her standing in front of this hotel. The hotel also contained the famous Coconut Grove nightclub, where Marilyn attended galas and award shows. There may also be a photo of her in the Coconut Grove on that.
Probably. The Coconut Grove was really famous and well known. It was a hot spot. But also this hotel. Wow. Okay. I'm looking at some old photos of it. This was like a very cool hotel. Very chic, really big. I thought it was just like a tiny hotel in my head. But this is where it's at. I mean, back in the 1940s.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't really think about it, but if your hotel is big enough for other businesses to have offices in your hotel building, it must be a pretty big deal.
And it also says here that Robert F. Kennedy addressed his supporters at the hotel. So shortly before he got shot.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So this was a place to do things and have meetings, and culturally there was a lot going on there.
On January 1st, 1953, 26-year-old Marilyn attended a major industry gathering known as the Cinerama Party to celebrate the new 3-projection filming technology. Photos from that night show Monroe laughing and drinking champagne alongside musical icons. She also attended the 17th Golden Globes there, which were held on March 8th, 1960. She took home the Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy Motion Picture for Some Like It Hot.
Okay, wait, whoa. So that was before it went to the Beverly Hilton, the Golden Globe.
Yes.
This was okay. And to connect all these hotels together, Some Like It Hot was filmed at the Del Coronado in San Diego.
Yes.
So
that's foreshadowing for later.
It's just crazy because like one person, 3 hotels.
Yeah, already. And we just started.
Yeah. One of the most iconic hotels in LA and associated with Marilyn Monroe is the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, which we did an episode on, and we've also spoken about her influence on that hotel's history, and we even have a video of the mirror that used to be in her hotel room. We don't know if that's true. Allegedly. And that, to this day, that video has gotten thousands and thousands of views. Definitely over 10,000 views. I think we're up to like 15 or 20 even.
Lot. Yeah.
I mean, it's been years. It's been accumulating, but it still gets so much interest. And it's just me taking a video of the mirror and then being like, I think Marilyn Monroe.
I know. It's possibly our shortest TikTok video and our most popular.
Anything that touches Marilyn Monroe is people are so interested and fascinated. But according to legend, Marilyn lived at the hotel for a little bit, but I'm not sure if that's like debatable.
So at least one historian has told us that this is not true, but the hotel maintains that she did live there for a while in a cabana suite on the 2nd floor that is now named after her.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hotel was really smart for naming suites after the celebrities that stay there for like a hot second.
Yes. But we know for sure that she was there for a photo shoot at the pool.
Yeah, she was a model for a suntan lotion ad. And it's a famous picture of her on the diving board of the Tropicana pool, yes, which David Hockney has painted a mural under. And so she has spent a significant amount of time there, I think, just being a celebrity, because that's also where the Oscars were held, and like a lot of things happened. You know, does she haunt the hotel? No,
probably not.
The Hollywood Roosevelt and Marilyn Monroe, I think, are connected in everyone's mind because of the photos that she's done there.
Yeah. Next up is the Beverly Carlton Hotel. So we're still in the late 40s, early 50s here. She lived at the Beverly Carlton off and on for a few years during this time, and she even kept a small room there to receive mail when she wasn't living there. At the time, she was living with William Morris Agency executive Johnny Hyde, and her longest stint there from 1951 to 1952, she lived in room 305.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she lived there, but since she's lived in so many places, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it was kind of back and forth between who she may have been living with for a moment and then needing to go back to a hotel.
Yeah. Her first cover for Life magazine in April 1952 in the iconic white ruched off-the-shoulder dress was shot by Philippe Halsman in her Beverly Carlton apartment. You can see part of her door and the corner of her room behind her in the photo. There are a lot of iconic Marilyn Monroe photos that, like, I think if anyone else just took a picture of themselves there, even any other celebrity, they wouldn't be as iconic as hers.
Yeah, she's just sitting in her living room and it's an amazing photo.
Yeah, she really, every single photo, it's weird because I think she's beautiful, but I think it's more than that she's a pretty face. There's something about Marilyn Monroe where every single photo she's in, she gives like a life to.
Oh yeah, she's the original aura farmer. Like she knows
like
what
she's
she's
not
doing.
Just standing there and looking pretty. There's something really about her. Like even there's photos of her like laughing and like in a field, and it's just like the best photo in the world.
Yeah,
and you're like, how is that possible?
Yes. She was also photographed outside this hotel, in her room, and by the pool by other photographers like Frank Worth, Phil Birchman, and Andre Dedian.
Marilyn Monroe was captured by photographer Andre Dedian in early 1953, enjoying a quiet morning at the Hotel Bel Air. She would stay at this hotel often during her career because I think this was before she bought a house or rented a house. She was hopping around and probably traveling and filming all different places. In 1962, she posed at the Bel Air for photographer Bert Stern in what would come to be called The Last Sitting, taken just 6 weeks before she died. She arrived 5 hours late, but the 12-hour shoot plus 2 more sessions afterward captured the last glimpse the public would get of the star before her death. That's wow.
Yeah.
In 2021, the photographer's widow curated an exhibition of the photos at the Bel Air Hotel for its 75th anniversary.
One of the hotels most associated with Marilyn was the Beverly Hills Hotel. Not shocking, it's associated with a lot of Hollywood. Multiple stays here between 1950 and 1962. She did live here for a while. She first moved into a third-floor room in late 1952 after a brief lease had run out on a Hollywood Hills house that she co-rented with Joe DiMaggio. It was to this room that she returned from the studio party that year to spend what she later told friends was her best ever Christmas. Rather than spending it alone, as she had expected to do, she found DiMaggio had not gone to be with his family in San Francisco, but had flown in as a surprise. He had brought a tree and decorations, put the champagne on ice, and prepared a blazing fire to welcome her home. Well, that's very romantic.
That's very romantic. This is DiMaggio, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He did care.
I bet that was really nice for her because I bet she did not have a lot of great Christmases growing up.
Marilyn was still living at the Beverly Hills Hotel on March 9th, 1953, which was very convenient for an evening engagement she had to pick up her Photoplay magazine award for Hollywood's fastest rising star at the hotel's Crystal Room. I didn't know that was an award. Back then, I guess it was.
Yeah.
That evening, her vampish attire caused great scandal, and to the more prudish members of the audience, even offense. Of course it did.
Of course.
Wait, now I want to see what she looked like. What was it really so scandalous?
No, it was not.
I think you know what? I think for back in the day, yeah, they're so, she liked to have her boobs bouncing around a little. She never had a bra on.
She did hate underwear. She would not wear underwear. But
I don't blame her.
But this dress is nothing different than what she wore in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. This is that gold dress.
Oh, okay. People need to calm down.
Yeah, everybody was wearing dresses like this, but I think that she just wore them particularly tight.
I think she just had a lot of attention, and so she went about it. Yeah, because there were people that wore just as scandalous.
Yes,
the way they did it was different. Yeah,
but they just weren't already so striking by themselves that if only the dress is striking, then people will let it slide. But if you are also striking and the dress, then altogether people are like, oh, I can't believe she would do that.
But also being very curvy and having big boobs, everything you wear seems sexual. That's
preaching to the choir.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. And then if you don't want to show yourself off, you're like, okay, I'll wear a big t-shirt, but then everyone's like, why are you hiding yourself? Why do you look baggy?
You cannot win.
Leave me alone.
But so I found this article on the MarilynReport.com talking about this. A reporter, Bob Thomas, asked Joan Crawford, who was at the awards ceremony, what she thought about the dress. And apparently she said, it was like a burlesque show. The audience yelled and shouted, and Jerry Lewis got up on the table and whistled, but those of us in the industry just shuddered. Sex plays a tremendously important part in every person's life. People are interested in it, intrigued with it, but they don't like to see it flaunted in their faces. The publicity has gone too far. She is making the mistake of believing her publicity. Someone should make her see the light. She should be told that the public likes provocative feminine personalities, but it also likes to know that underneath it all, the actresses are ladies.
So be everything.
Yeah. So apparently,
be everything.
Which is so funny because I'm sorry, when you Google young Joan Crawford, you want to guess how many of her outfits were appropriate? There's one of her in a bikini top and skirt. Like, no, Miss Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford is such a bitch.
Yeah. Like, you're just mad because you're old and you don't get that attention anymore.
It was like known. Was Joan Crawford Sunset Boulevard?
I think so. But there's literally photos of her wearing dresses that look not exactly, but very similar styles to that Marilyn dress. The difference, Joan Crawford doesn't have big boobs.
Yeah. No, 100%. That's why she can get away with it, or people won't be, but it's also because I'm telling you, they all hated each other. They all were catty and playing this game. And they were all incredibly jealous because that's how they made the system.
Yeah. And
so Joan Crawford, being the worn out actress that she is near Marilyn Monroe, she's going to be a little bitch about it.
Yeah.
Wow. They really needed feminism back then.
I know. So Marilyn's opinion about it was put in her 1954 memoir, My Story. So Marilyn said, "I was so surprised I could hardly believe what I was reading. I called up some friends who had seen me at the ceremony and asked them if it were true. They laughed. It wasn't true, they said. They advised me to forgive a lady who had once been young and seductive herself."
Yeah. You see?
She's just mad because nobody ever jumped up on a table and whistled for her when she got up to accept an award.
Well, was Jerry Lewis around to do that?
I know.
I don't even know if that's a normal reaction. That sounds like a Jerry Lewis reaction.
Absolutely. And also, why are you mad at Marilyn? Why aren't you mad at Jerry Lewis for not having some decorum? Speaking of, you want her to be a lady, but you don't care if he's a gentleman?
No, that it's everything. We have to control ourselves. We have to be the polite, delicate little flowers, and men could do whatever because men can't control themselves.
Yeah,
at least that's
boys.
The thinking of back then.
Yeah,
boys will be, especially back then. You can't help it. Don't wear that stuff. And it's no one ever punished the men. It was all the women. And other women were the worst.
Yeah.
Apparently. Joan Crawford, such a bitch.
Marilyn and Joe stayed at the hotel soon after they were married in early 1954 while waiting for decorators to finish work on their home on Palm Drive. She was back once more on March 8, 1954 to pick up another Photoplay award. This time she dressed more demure and did not cause an outburst. Don't dull your shine. Later that year, after she split up with DiMaggio, Marilyn may have stayed a few days at this hotel as she worked out her next move.
Yeah. I feel like a hotel's a good place to be when you are going through a breakup.
Yeah. You don't need to be responsible for your own laundry when you're going through a breakup.
During the years she was based in New York, the Beverly Hills Hotel was where she stayed when filming Commitment took her back to Los Angeles. In 1958, shooting for Some Like It Hot, and in 1960 for Let's Make Love, perhaps her longest sojourn when for 4 months she and her husband, Arthur Miller, lived in neighboring bungalows with Yves Montand and his wife, actress Simone Signoret. Signorata.
Senora?
Senora. Who is actress Simone Signoret?
Yves Montand's wife.
Thank you, Deanna. I don't like Arthur Miller at all.
Okay, so she was a French actress. So Simone Signore?
Signore. Okay.
Not Signore, but
that's
Signore. Signore.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just came back from France. You're very into the correct
very. I understand.
Deanna has reformed herself from not pronouncing French correctly, and now she's back from France, and she's a new woman. So how did you say it?
Signora. No, that's Italian. Damn it.
Signora.
You know what? She was born Simone Henriette Charlotte Kaminker or Kaminker.
That's what we're going to call her.
Her last name wasn't even real. That's a stage name.
She filmed Let's Make Love on site with Yves Montand in bungalows 20 and 21. She stayed in bungalows 1 and 7 throughout her time there. Bungalow 1 is supposedly her preferred room. If you stay there now, it has lots of nods to Marilyn's career, including a library of her movies and bios, and a Chanel No. 5 perfume bar and toiletries. That's sweet.
Can I just say that I think Chanel No. 5 doesn't smell very good.
No, it smells like ass.
Other Chanel perfumes like Mademoiselle smell really, really good. So why does Chanel No. 5 smell so bad?
I think it was just the OG of perfume. Like
it was like the first
commercial.
That everyone was like, hey, you don't have to just smell like Frisia.
Yeah, I think also, people made their own like concoctions of perfume, and this was like the most commercialized thing, and it was expensive and whatever. And let's be honest, like all the other variations of Chanel now that smell better than Chanel No. 5 is because they weren't made by a Nazi.
Fair.
So maybe Chanel No. 5 smelled bad for a reason.
Yeah.
That's my hot take. Who knows? Maybe, you see, we don't know if Marilyn Monroe continued wearing Chanel No. 5 once she converted to Judaism. She might have moved on.
And do we even know if she actually wore it or if she just used the name Chanel No. 5 to make cute quips about that's all she had on?
We don't know. I think she did wear Chanel No. 5 in the beginning, but maybe she got it as a gift for someone and she was like, this is considered luxury.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think she used quite a few different perfumes. That might have been a quip. You're right.
Yeah.
We need to find out for sure. Well, there's like a lot of people interested in what Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, all these celebrities used beauty wise, and they're into the accuracy, and there's a lot of misconceptions. So there are people who care about this.
That's true.
And I would like to believe that Marilyn Monroe smelled better than Chanel No. 5.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
She did also dine regularly at the Beverly Hills Hotel in the Polo Lounge at Table 6, lounging poolside. So I believe Table 6 still exists there if you want to grab her table.
We went to the Beverly Hills Hotel to get brunch, and we also ate at the pool cafe, but it wasn't the Polo Lounge.
No, it wasn't.
But I'd like to go.
So, of course, we mentioned Marilyn in our Plaza Hotel episodes because she stayed there during her New York publicity trips and while she was studying in New York with Lee Strasberg at the learning his method acting. In February of 1956, Marilyn called a press conference and appeared alongside Laurence Olivier at the terrace room of the Plaza Hotel to announce their joint project, The Sleeping Prince, better known as The Prince and the Showgirl. 2 days earlier, the pair agreed to the deal in which Olivier would also direct and co-produce. The film was released in 1957. Over 150 reporters and photographers were present, witnessing a moment when one of the straps on Marilyn's dress broke. Shonda, before being held by a safety pin offered to her by a reporter. The strap snapped again, and Marilyn held it in place while posing for pictures.
She knows what to do.
The original wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. Oh, I just looked up the perfume because I want to know what the hell she actually. And it says here that although Marilyn Monroe is famously linked to Chanel No. 5 by saying she just wore a few drops before bed, she actually has historical receipts and photos reveal she also personally used Floris Rose Geranium Bath Essence and Lanvin Apergie and some other perfume. So I don't think it was always Chanel number 5.
Okay, good.
I think she probably just used a few drops to, like, I don't know, seem expensive or like remind some man that she's worthy. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it was just a nice gift from someone. So
I think so. I think maybe in small amounts it's bearable, but on January 15th, 1954, Marilyn Monroe married Joe DiMaggio in a civil ceremony with a crowd of 500 cheering them on outside. They then went to Paso Robles, where they had a candlelight dinner. Oh, that's really sweet. They said they were heading back to Hollywood after, but doubled back to the Clifton Motel, where they spent the night in their $4 hotel room with the Do Not Disturb sign on the door. After the owners hung up a plaque reading, Joe and Marilyn slept here.
That's so cute.
Yeah. They were like, listen, we don't need nothing fancy. We just need a hotel bed. $4. That's kind of cheap.
Big spender.
For Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio, I mean, I think that.
Yeah, they went to the place that no one expected them to be going. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Next, Monroe and DiMaggio headed to Japan for their honeymoon, which doubled as a promotional trip for the opening of Japan's baseball season. When they stopped in Hawaii to refuel, strands of Marilyn's hair were pulled out by reaching hands from the crowd as they went to the transit lounge. In Japan, they had to be snuck off the plane through the baggage hatch. At the Imperial Hotel, where they would stay, 200 policemen got them inside the hotel, but the crowd would not abate until Marilyn came out onto the balcony.
Monroe then departed to entertain U.S. troops in Korea, creating tension with DiMaggio. Why, DiMaggio? Why? She was being patriotic.
She should be there to support his career, not be going off to do her own career. Yeah, this was the beginning of the end for Marilyn and Joe. Next up is a pivotal part of Marilyn's life. In September 1954, she came to New York to film scenes for what would become one of her biggest hits, The 7-Year Itch. She and her husband, Joe DiMaggio, stayed at the St. Regis Hotel at 55th Street and 5th Avenue, just a few blocks away from the site that would change her life and career.
Director Billy Wilder had the cameras rolling one hot summer night as Monroe stood over a subway grate on Lexington and 52nd Street while a fan blew up from below to create an unforgettable image. Monroe, the bombshell, skirts blowing, eyes closed as the subway rumbles beneath. The most iconic Marilyn Monroe image was taken for this movie and on this night, which is very problematic now.
Yeah. The film's publicity department hosted an open call for witnesses to this very private moment. More than 2,000 mostly male spectators showed up. The actual scene used in the movie was reshot later on a soundstage back in Los Angeles. So they didn't even need this for the movie. They just needed this for publicity. This was not even for the movie, and this it finished blowing up her marriage. Joe DiMaggio was furious, and it's agreed by many that this was the last straw for him and the catalyst for their divorce soon after. One of Marilyn's hairdressers has said that DiMaggio roughed Marilyn up in the hotel after this scene was shot. Yeah, the hairdresser says, I think in a biography, she had bruises on her shoulders that had to be covered with makeup the next day.
Oh my God. What a dick.
Yeah.
It's sad that this is the man that's so-called cared for her the most.
That he loved her the most and he bruised her. Yeah.
But also you're marrying Marilyn Monroe. Like, are you serious? And I have another thing. Why are you blaming her?
Yeah.
Go beat up Billy Wilder. Yeah, like the reason she's playing this game is they're putting her in these positions and saying, do this or else. I don't want to like victimize her and say she was just like always, obviously there's a lot of things she did and partook in that didn't mean she was forced or anything. But you're in this very predatory career and industry. And you know that people are taking advantage. You know how it works. You know who this woman is.
Mm-hmm.
You should have beat up Billy Wilder.
Yeah.
Like, why beat up her? What is that? When I read about all these like women in old Hollywood, the ones who like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, the way men treated them.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm like, you had Marilyn Monroe and you screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Audrey Hepburn, and Audrey Hepburn got cheated on, I think twice. Like, who cheats on Audrey Hepburn? I'm sorry.
I know.
Like,
Do you
how?
think that, oh, well, you got Audrey Hepburn, so now you can see what else you can get? Like, does it give you them such a confidence boost that they're like, oh, well.
No, I actually think I have a theory about cheaters, about people who cheat, specifically this dynamic of like the beautiful, perfect woman, because obviously they weren't perfect. Obviously, Marilyn Monroe had her issues and all that stuff. But I think at the end of the day is that the men feel inadequate and insecure, and they can't cope with the fact that maybe they don't deserve these women.
Mm.
And so they compartmentalize and they're like, that's my wife, but I feel embarrassed that, you know, I'm not good enough. So
everyone's asking. If you want to delve further into any of the subjects we discuss on Hotel History, explore our bookshelves on bookshop.org, where we've gathered titles connected to the hotels, people, places, and fascinating history we cover on the podcast. Find your next read at bookshop.org/shop/hotel history. And remember to support indie bookstores whenever you can.
When Marilyn first headed to New York in 1955 to reinvent herself as a serious actress, she rented a room at the Gladstone Hotel. She only stayed there briefly while finding a more permanent place to stay. So again, another place that she is at.
Very short time. She found another place to stay, the Waldorf Astoria.
She's like, what am I doing at this hotel?
In July of 1955, her new production company, Marilyn Monroe Productions, rented a suite on the 27th floor in the Waldorf Towers of the Waldorf Astoria. The apartment's furnishings were almost all white because she believed it was Jean Harlow's favorite color scheme. And she had, sort of invented herself via Jean Harlow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Another tragic soul.
Yeah.
It was also around this time she began having an extramarital affair with playwright Arthur Miller, whom she had first met back in Hollywood in 1951. Okay, I did not know that's how they met or how things started. And that is a red flag.
Yeah.
Marilyn.
Yeah. Moral compass doesn't point north for either one of them.
No.
She hosted interviews and press events at the hotel while trying to rebrand herself. In December 1956, after attending the premiere of Baby Doll, she appeared at a radio broadcast during the after-party at the Astoria. You can tell in the photos that she has darkened her hair a bit compared to the platinum blonde it was earlier that year, a look probably meant to distance herself from the dumb blonde image she was forced to repeat role after role. It didn't last long, and in later years, she went even blonder, a color she called pillowcase white.
Ah.
Yeah. So this is the whole time when Marilyn has started her production company. She has gotten the studio out from under the studios. She's trying so hard to make her own projects. She wants creative control. She wants say in who the director is. She wants final say on scripts. And the studios had been refusing to let her have any of that. So when she finally got out of her contract, she starts this production company, moves to New York, and is trying to completely reinvent herself. And that's when she's also taking acting lessons under the Strasbergs.
By the end of 1955, the expense of maintaining the suite had become unsustainable for Marilyn Monroe Productions. Despite the prestige it gave the new company, and she relocated to an apartment on Sutton Place. I mean, that makes sense. Living in a hotel,
Yeah, you got a
With
brand new company and you're just blowing money on a suite in the Waldorf Astoria. Come on.
Yeah. Even after she moved out, she frequently attended high-profile events at the hotel, such as the April in Paris Ball in 1957. According to Life magazine, the ball featured a reenactment of Marquis de Lafayette's reception in New York in 1824. He was the last surviving general of the Revolutionary War, complete with 2 horses pulling a carriage through the hotel ballroom.
Dude, I was laughing so hard reading this because why do these
I was about to say this.
Freaking hotels keep bringing in the biggest animals they can find?
Love wild animals, hotels and animals. Like, it's so funny because you don't think about that in the beginning.
It is just always like, the luxury hotels. They're like, always, yeah, bring in the animals notorious for crapping all over the place into our 5-star hotel.
The magazine goes on to describe Marilyn as an unwitting pawn in a slight prepared for the Duchess of Windsor by the event's organizer, Elsa Maxwell, who harbored a grudge against the Duchess, as reported by the Times Standard newspaper. Elsa Maxwell invited Marilyn to upstage the Duchess, who was the event's honorary chair and was supposed to be the star of the evening. Not with Marilyn around. Yeah. But when Marilyn came, of course, fashionably late, she immediately became the center of attention. More than 30 photographers abandoned the Duchess table, the newspaper reported. They were followed at a pace only slightly more sedate by some of New York's upper crust society dowagers, waving programs for autographs. The newly elected senator for Massachusetts, John F. Kennedy, also attended the gala with Jackie. They weren't photographed with Marilyn and Arthur, and it's unclear if the couples met or interacted that night. According to an article on the MarilynReport.com, when Kennedy ran for the presidential nomination in 1960, many still underestimated him, including Marilyn, who told New York Times editor Lester Markle that Kennedy would go back to Boston by Christmas. That's drama. I mean, what did you think was going to happen if you have Marilyn Monroe at your event?
Yeah, that's exactly what she wanted to happen because she was specifically trying to slight the Duchess.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good. I mean, that is a good move.
I mean, those society matrons, they were playing chess with each other. They were constantly doing stuff like that.
Yeah, they were really subtle. Their passive aggressiveness is insane.
Yes. The next hotel is just a little blip, but it's the Ambassador Hotel in New York. And Sir Cecil Beaton took Marilyn's favorite photo of herself in a photo shoot here on February 22nd, 1956. This photo shoot includes the famous image of her staring out at New York from the balcony. This was actually my computer wallpaper for a while, several years ago. And I was like, oh, this was her favorite photo of herself.
I'm telling you, every photo of her is iconic.
Yeah.
1958, Hotel del Coronado. Monroe lived and filmed here during production of Some Like It Hot. She stayed in a private bungalow area while filming with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, who she apparently did not get along with at all. Really? Oh my God, that's so sad. They described her as arrogant and childish. Said she couldn't remember even simple dialogue and was chronically late to set. Well, you know, she's going through shit.
She was going through shit.
Curtis famously said kissing Marilyn was like kissing Hitler.
What does that mean? Did she have a mustache? Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. One, Tony Curtis is Jewish.
By this point, so is Marilyn. Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, I don't think it was ideologically driven.
No,
I think it probably was like uncomfortable. It sounds like it was painful to kiss her. Stories from the production describe Monroe's lateness. She appeared for a lunchtime call at 6 p.m. And once, when reading in her dressing room, the assistant director called her to set. She told him to go fuck himself. Ay.
Director Billy Wilder compared the experience to an airplane flight, saying, "We were in mid-flight and there was a nut on the plane." But later, he also described her as a comedic genius and said, "Believe me, in the last 15 years, there were 10 projects that came to me, and I'd start working on them and I'd think, it's not going to work. It needs Marilyn Monroe. Nobody else is in that orbit. Everyone else is earthbound by comparison." So that's really high praise and I think tempered by.
But people have to remember, this was a point in her life and career. She was going downhill.
So to put it in perspective, you can get the gist of Marilyn's frame of mind from a note she wrote to her friend, Norman Roston, on Hotel del Coronado letterhead. It said, "Dear Norman, don't give up the ship while we're sinking. I have a feeling this boat is never going to dock. We are going through the Straits of Dire. It's rough and choppy, but why should I worry? I have no phallic symbol to lose. Marilyn. P.S. Love me for my yellow hair alone." I would have written this by hand, but it's trembling. A few days later, she was admitted to the hospital for nervous exhaustion, and it was discovered she was pregnant again. Arthur Miller asked the director if she could leave early in the afternoons. Wilder said he didn't even get his first shot until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Miller was bewildered. Marilyn left their room for the set at 7 a.m. every morning. So no one knows where she was between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day of shooting.
Damn.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just nauseous.
Just wandering around. Who knows?
Yeah.
She finished shooting the movie in early November and went back to New York, but shortly before Christmas, she lost the baby.
Oh. That's really sad. She had a lot of problems with pregnancies and fertility and stuff. Monroe stayed at the Savoy during a UK-related publicity and theatrical travel connected to husband Arthur Miller. Her famous visit was in July 1956 for a press conference to promote the film The Prince and the Showgirl. The iconic event drew roughly 4,000 fans and international media. She co-hosted the event with Sir Laurence Olivier, who was the director and her co-star in the film. She caused a scandal by wearing a black cocktail dress with a sheer midriff, which got the conservative media talking, of course.
Of course.
By the way, that was really the end of. She was struggling, I heard, in that movie too.
So we mentioned the Beverly Hilton earlier because they got the Golden Globes right after The Ambassador. Marilyn went to lots of parties and promotions at the Beverly Hilton, including one in July of 1960. An after party was given at the Hilton after Kennedy gave his famous New Frontier speech at the Los Angeles Coliseum during the Democratic National Convention. Pete Summers, a campaign official, said he saw JFK telephone Jackie back on the East Coast, then head out to the dance floor with Marilyn. So he was like, "Hey, babe, everything went great. I think I'm going to call it an early night." And then went and supposedly danced with Marilyn. In March of 1962, she attended the Golden Globes at the hotel. She wore a green Norman Norell gown, walked the red carpet, and accepted the World Film Favorite Henrietta Award presented by Rock Hudson.
JFK was also a slut.
Oh my God. I think he had
a piece of work.
I think he had an illness. Like, he must have been a sex addict because the amount of affairs he had.
He admitted that, though. He said he can't go without sex for like a day, like 2 days max. That's not normal.
That's not normal.
And I also think it probably had to do with like his pain. He was like addicted to pain. He had like a lot of issues in his body. And I think maybe this was for Jackie. My God.
I know.
According to the book, The Secret Lives of Marilyn Monroe, Kennedy preferred the Carlisle Hotel at his New York base, not just because of its sweeping view of Manhattan, but because he had the utmost privacy, including an escape route through tunnels that connected the hotel with nearby houses and hotels, of course. Mm-hmm. It was also only 18 blocks away from Marilyn's apartment, and witnesses reported seeing Marilyn go into the hotel with no makeup on and her hair pulled back, so no one would recognize her. Did that actually work? That's funny.
Yeah, I think because Marilyn Monroe looked so different than a makeupless Norma Jean that people would not even notice her.
Yeah, I can see that. JFK was staying at the Carlyle the night of the infamous Happy Birthday song, to which he returned around 2 a.m. An unnamed witness says Marilyn Monroe joined him there. Is it true? But if she was there, it wasn't for very long. She arrived home at 4 a.m. and called her masseur to request a massage. Wait, what? You can get a massage at 4 a.m.?
You can if you're Marilyn Monroe and you have a masseur on speed dial.
But wait a minute. Why do they think she didn't stay there long? 2 hours is enough time.
2 hours is plenty of time.
Yeah. That's sketchy.
In August of 1960, Frank Sinatra invited the entire company of the film The Misfits to see him perform at the Cal Neva Lodge in Nevada, which was located close to the movie shoot. Marilyn went, accompanied by husband Arthur Miller. The Cal Neva was a casino and resort on the heights overlooking Lake Tahoe that Sinatra was in the process of buying. This hotel actually has a really interesting history, and we're going to do a full-length episode on it someday.
Oh yeah, no, we have not touched Vegas, and it's going to happen
on the list. Yeah, a couple years later, it would become a source of public embarrassment for Sinatra when his dealings with the mafia started coming to light. In fact, Sinatra gave Marilyn a white poodle in 1960 that she named Muff, short for mafia, which she apparently thought was hilarious. Her relationship with Sinatra led her into closer contact with the mafia, which was very dangerous for the Kennedys. Robert Kennedy, who was Attorney General, had declared war on the mob, and the mob wanted to use the Kennedys' sexual infidelities to pressure and blackmail them. Both brothers having some sort of relationship with Marilyn could prove very dicey for them.
Peter Lawford, who was JFK's brother-in-law, accompanied Marilyn to the Cal Neva 3 weeks before she died to see Sinatra perform. The staff interviewed said she was sad and withdrawn. According to The Secret Lives of Marilyn Monroe, a cashier at the lodge said she wasn't well. She kept herself disguised pretty much, kept herself covered with a black scarf, and stayed in her room a good deal of the time. In fact, everyone became alarmed about it because she would go to sleep with the telephone at her ear open to the switchboard. I think she was frightened, and it was a way of not being alone. One night, the telephone operator heard strange sounds and troubled breathing on the line from Chalet 52, where Marilyn was staying. Thanks to her, the alarm was raised and Marilyn was saved from an overdose. Although Peter Lawford claims his wife Pat was in the room with her and realized there was a problem when Marilyn fell out of bed. So this is something also like when they say someone killed Marilyn, I'm like,
yeah,
this
like
isn't the first time.
She had already, this was 3 weeks before she died that she's trying to OD.
Yeah.
Maybe not trying to OD, but taking enough to OD.
I think she was trying to end her life. She was troubled and it didn't magically go away in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Marilyn is also supposed to have visited again the week she died, flying in on Sinatra's private plane. Joe DiMaggio supposedly came to find her, but he checked into a different hotel because he was feuding with Sinatra. He was jealous of Sinatra's relationship with Marilyn and thought he should have had more respect for Joe and his feelings.
Oh, this man.
Dude, and also, I'm sorry, you think Sinatra is going to have respect for your feelings? Frank Sinatra?
Yeah. While Marilyn did stay at the Miramar Hotel often during her career, it was Joe DiMaggio who stayed here in early August 1962, when he was alerted to the news of Marilyn's death, which happened in the early morning hours of August 5th. He got on a plane to LA and stayed in Suite 1035 at the Miramar, which is located on Ocean Boulevard in Santa Monica, not far from Marilyn's house in Brentwood. This is so sad.
Yeah.
This is so sad. Like, man, their whole lives basically documented in hotels.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the whole thing. When you read about Marilyn's history, there was just a lot of predators and not a lot of people who really, really cared for her. They all had their ego in the way. Like Joe DiMaggio, he could have done better and he didn't. And forget Arthur Miller, piece of shit. But like, she had no friends. I think that the industry has created isolation for these actresses because not many of the female actresses were friends with each other.
Yeah.
They rarely were friends with each other. I think they did that on purpose, control-wise.
Yeah, it seems like most of Marilyn's friends were the people who were with her all the time. Her hairdressers, her makeup artists, her photographers, and then for a while, the acting coaches, the Strasbergs, were her friends.
Yeah.
But of course, were they really her friends, or were they just using her name to get even more publicity for their acting studio?
From what I understand of celebrities and the people that work for them, they're just yes men. Yeah. They're terrified of losing their jobs. They're terrified of standing up for themselves. They're going to get fired. So if they even try to help them, they're getting fired.
Yeah.
If they're saying, hey, maybe no. And because of that, they become enablers. They're yes men. So I don't know. I just think she had no real friends. But then she also was self-isolating and she was kind of ruining relationships. She was pushing people away.
You know who was genuinely her friend and cared about her that she maintained a relationship with was Arthur Miller's father, her father-in-law. They would...
Oh, right.
Yeah. They would... there was some really sweet letters sent back and forth between them, and Marilyn was planning a trip to Florida to visit him. And like it seemed like they actually had a really genuinely good relationship, and he was maybe kind of a late in life father figure for her. It's so sad that Arthur Miller had to be such a shit.
I wonder if he knew if his son was a shit. Probably. Yeah, he's probably like, you should really not be with this man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how young she was when she passed, and how much influence and power she held for someone who lived such a short amount.
Yeah.
She was 36.
She was 36.
I'm 35. I can't believe that.
Insane. Yeah. Yeah. And it makes me so sad to think about everything else that she could have done. Like, she was such a gifted comedian, and she always talked about she couldn't wait until she got old and could play character actors, because I think she thought maybe even as much as she was terrified of not being attractive, because that's what she had always made her career off of, I think part of her also really, really wanted to see what she could do if that pressure was off of herself to be the attractive bombshell star.
Seriously. Yeah, I think she had so much more to give. And if really she was more mentally stable and cared for, we could have seen a lot more of her. It's just so sad. But I think also the men in her life do not get bashed enough.
Yeah.
In my opinion. They don't. They don't.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we love Marilyn Monroe.
Thanks for listening to Hotel History. You can follow us on most social media platforms, Patreon, and Substack by searching for Hotel History or Hotel History Podcast. To connect or collaborate with us, check out our website at hotelhistorypodcast.com. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so we can reach more listeners.